Welcome to episode 5 of Voodu Warlock 2023. Now I am level 5, and this is a great gearing level because of the Feywild gear set, which is an awesome gear set. And in case you're a little bit newer and you don't know about that gear set, I'd recommend that you build up a great collection of level 5 Feywild gear because it has a very versatile set that is good for pretty much any build that you do, and the gear is so good that some people wear it right up until level 20 and then sometimes beyond. So we're going to go, let's just start with gear first. So I'm still wearing my little level 1 goggles that I showed before, and I have the same armor that I had last episode. The Green Dragon Scale Bracers are part of the Seasons of Feywild set. Now the Legendary set has 4 different sets, as a summer, winter, and autumn, and a spring set, but the heroic set is just one giant set. There's like 40 pieces. You can mix and match. You can build as little as a 2-piece set or as big as a 7-piece set, and it's just all really great stuff. As you can see at the bottom there, 2 pieces gives you 10 artifact bonus to hit points. The 3rd piece gives you a 50 artifact bonus to spell points. The 4th piece gives you an artifact +1 to all ability scores. 5th piece gives you 1% artifact to dodge. 6th piece gives you +1 artifact bonus to all spell DCs, and the 7th piece gets you +5 artifact bonus to PRR and MRR. So I pretty much always run a 7-piece set right at level 5, and there's so many more pieces, and I do have some extra ones just to show you, and there's so many more than what I have on me right now. So there's nothing too exciting on, the individual abilities or enchantments on this item isn't too exciting for what I'm doing, but it was just more about finding something that had some useful stats that would apply towards that set bonus. Here I have a Caneth crafted ring that gives me charisma 4 and false life 14. I have it slotted with a sapphire of natural armor +3. Give me some added defenses. Here I have a Caneth crafted set of boots that I have sheltering 9 and dexterity 4 on, slotted up with a topaz of feather falling. Like I showed you in a previous episode, I can tell at a glance that this one hasn't been updated because the word yellow slot is in white writing instead of yellow writing, and it's not under a heading at the bottom that says augments like we see on the armor here. See blue augment slots and blue writing, it's under a heading at the bottom called augments. This isn't like that. But I don't need to, there's no reason for me to pull it out just to update it because a feather falling topaz doesn't scale. So by just leaving it in there, I'm, kind of saving the ability to swap it out for free later on if I choose to. I have the Dead Ringers on my glove slot. It gives me Profane Spell Focus 1, Spell Penetration 3, some extra spell points from the Wizardry, and then Insightful Wizardry. And it's got a little Mythic boost on there as well. I have it slotted up with Diamond Strength +3, just so I don't get encumbered so easily. It's good to have a little bit of source of strength. You don't need a lot of it, but an augment will do just fine. Here I have the Ring of Winter's Chill, and this is because it has Impulse and Kinetic Lore. My blasts are doing force damage, so that's where I'm getting my force damage and lore from, and that's part of the Feywild set as well, just like the Dead Ringers. And then I have another piece of the Feywild set, the Belt of the Ram. It gives me Constitution 4. I don't need the Speed 15 because I have the Quiver of Alacrity, but if you didn't have a Quiver of Alacrity, this would be a nice source of speed. And it's got Ram's Might as well, give me a little bit more strength. Still have my Fjarlane Mirror Cloak there. A Caneth crafted resistance spell saves, that's the same as last level. Amber Pendant, this is also from the Seasons of the Feywild set. Has some nice spell casting stats, some insightful sheltering, a Reaper boost on it as gravy, and I got a Sapphire Protection 3 in there, just to give me some added armor class. So between the Sapphire Protection 3 and the Sapphire Natural Armor 3, that's 6 more armor class. And here we have the Crown of Snow. This is a particularly nice item, and a lot of casters like to wear this right through Heroics, and even some casters will wear it through Epics until they get their Legendary Crown of Snow. The Cerulean Wave has a really nice effect that can freeze mobs when they get hit by your spells. And there is a legendary version of that. As well, it has Spell Focus Mastery 2. Then I have it slotted up with Diamond of Intimidate +5. I'm not doing too much intimidating at this level, but in any event, there it is. I will be wearing this until, I think, level 13. I do have the Ferrocrystal Shield. This is also part of the Feywild set. The Diamond of Charisma +3 doesn't stack because I'm getting Charisma 4 there. So there's really no need for that. But I'm not too worried about trying to put something more useful in there. It does give me some added defenses using the shield. But if you don't want to use a shield, you don't have to. It might be a little bit tricky if you're not a King of the Crafter. Because this does have spell failure 5%. I am mitigating that spell failure with the Lesser Arcane Casting Dexterity that I crafted onto my armor. Like I said, if you want to use an orb or another caster stick, that's just fine. The shield certainly isn't necessary. But it was a nice place to get another piece of the Feywild set from. All right. So other pieces of gear I have at level 5. Scrolls of Restoration. This is great to remove negative levels. So I have that on my hotbar down here, and I have it hotkeyed. And we have plenty of use magic device skill to get it. We have 120% chance. No problem. I also have Fire Shield scrolls. Fire Shield is a very underappreciated buff in this game. It's so important that I not only have it hot in my hotbar, but I have it hotkeyed, and I have both the blue and red version hotkeyed. You can see I could just, it's a multi-selector spell, and I can grab each version and put them down in my hotbar separately. The blue version gives you 50% absorption to fire damage, and the red version gives you 50% absorption to cold damage. And even from a scroll, I think it lasts a minute 21 seconds, and a minute 21 seconds of 50% absorption of fire and cold situationally is very strong. There's lots of folks who appreciate the virtues of Fire Shield, but there are lots of folks out there who don't, who just blow it off. But I think that everybody, if you don't have the ability to cast Fire Shield, like from your spell book, that's not a Warlock spell. If you don't have the ability to cast it, well, you can get scrolls. All right, the next item that we have is the Pale Lavender Ioun Stone, which is right here. This is one of the most important spell absorption items in the game, and I would highly recommend it for any tune that you're serious about. It's definitely the best heroic spell absorption in the game. It has 50 charges. It recharges 15 charges per day, and that absorbs levels of spells, which works a little bit differently than the Mantle of the World Shaper, which is the next item I'm going to show you, which absorbs spells straight up. So like the Mantle of the World Shaper, this item, which comes from the end reward, guaranteed on the end reward from Threnal Chain, will absorb a whole spell, 5 whole spells, no matter what level they are. This one absorbs levels of spells. So if somebody casts a level 5 spell at me, it will take 5 charges off. A level 1 spell coming at me will take 1 charge off. A level 9 spell coming at me will take 9 charges off. So they do work a little bit differently. I like to have them both right at level 5. It's nice to have some spell absorption at this level in case we get a nasty caster or a Famine Reaper. As soon as I see a Famine Reaper, I'm putting that on. And I have that on my hotbar, and I even have it hotkeyed so that I can just one-touch it over to the spell absorption when I need. And I have the Mantle of the World Shaper on my hotbar as well. So if I want to swap to the cloak, I can do so quickly. The Pale Lavender Ioun Stone can drop very, very, very rarely from any level appropriate chest. It's very important that you do not use it until you upgrade it. Because before you upgrade it, and it's level 2 before it's upgraded, it is a one-time use item, and it will go poof and disappear forever if you use it before you upgrade it. Once you upgrade it, then it becomes rechargeable. Now, even though it's a very rare drop from level appropriate chest, there is a way to farm it, and that is by doing the Dreaming Dark quest, which is the capstone quest for the whole IQ Dreaming Dark chain. Every 3 completions of the Dreaming Dark quests gives you a random Ioun Stone on the end reward. And you can just keep farming that out. You can just zerg it on casual until you get the Ioun Stone that you want. So that's the easiest way to farm the whatever Ioun Stone that you want. Now, except for the level 15 one, that only comes from the Wayloon Prelude chain, but the other Ioun Stones can all drop. Even in the end chest of Dreaming Dark, but a guaranteed random one will be on every 3rd quest completion list. I also have Steele's Eternal Flask of Super Bold Blend Coffee. This item comes from the anniversary event that comes out in March, and it's an easy farm to get one of these. And what this does gives me 100 festive bonus to unconscious range, 10 festive bonus to intimidate, a 10 festive bonus to tumble, 75% festive bonus to hate from melee and ranged attacks, and a 5 festive bonus to fortitude saves. But really what this is about is giving me that big 10 festive bonus to intimidate. So once I'm at end game, if I'm struggling to hit a big intimidate for a big raid boss, well, that gives me some nice situational intimidate. It's a big boost of 10. Now that only lasts for 90 seconds, and on expiration there's some big penalties, but the cooldown is 90 seconds, so you just got to keep drinking it if you need it. So I don't use it very often, but it's certainly a nice item to have for an Intimid tank. I also picked up some Wands of Cure Serious Wounds. You can start using those at level 5. We have plenty of UMD to use those. I still have 1 Wand of Cure Moderate, just in case I run out. It's nice to have a backup if I forget to buy more. And I picked up a stack of Scrolls of Cure Critical Wounds, and I do have those slotted up, both of them on my hotbar and hotkeyed. I'm just going to show you some other items that can be part of the Feywild set. There are lots more items, but the Cloak of the Winter is actually something I'll be switching to at level 7, because I'll be getting spell resistance from another source at level 7. The Nocturne Ring is great because it's got Command 3. That's an insight bonus to charisma skills, so that includes like Intimidate and Use Magic Device. So if you're looking for a little bit of a boost to your Use Magic Device skill, you can get it from there, and that will stack with the Persuasion. And like we said before, we know it stacks because they're different typed bonuses. This is a competency bonus, and this is an insight bonus. So those will stack because they're two different bonus types. The Leaf Mail is a level 5 armor. It says level 8. That's just because I have it slotted up with a level 8 augment, the Augment of Heavy Fortification. But this would be a nice light armor option to wear if you decided not to go with the crafted or the shield. The Necklace of Bottle Sunlight could also be a nice option because it has Charisma 4 on there and some healing amplification. And a Good Hope clicky. That's a really nice clicky. So just wanted to show you some of those items too. And there's a whole bunch more Seasons of the Feywild items to choose from. And like I said, it's great for a new player to build up a big collection of those. That way, no matter what build you're doing, you can just slap together a 7-piece set right at level 5. The weapon I'm using is the same as last time. It has my Sonic Lure and Resonance. Just want to show my skills real quick. I still haven't been able to max them out, but hopefully I will have enough skill points later to spend some points in Concentration, Intimidate, and Spellcraft. No feats at this level. Just showing you real quick that if you're super new and you don't know how to navigate your character sheet, you can hover over your hit points, and it's going to show you some additional stats like your healing amplification, positive, negative, and repair amplification there. If you hover over this little symbol here, it shows you your individual spell powers, your individual spell critical chance, and your spell critical multipliers there. You can hover over your armor class to get a breakdown of that, showing you how much dodge you have and stuff. Let's see, these show like your attack bonuses and weapon power. And you also got this plus tab here. There's a whole bunch of stuff, just in case you've been away from the game for quite a few years. This was not here years ago, and all this stuff was just not itemized anywhere on our character sheets before. And it's really nice to have so much of this stuff. If you're unfamiliar with the plus tab, you might want to go through here and look at some of those abilities and just get familiar with the kinds of stats that are listed there. And it's nice to refer to those, when you want to reference, how much of, a certain ability that you have. Let's see. No new spells this level. I think the blindness came from my pack, but I don't even use it really. On the enchantment side, I did respec a little bit just to get the point of Constitution there. I did pick up a point of Charisma here and some more pack damage here. Now, just in case you're not aware, this is one of those things that every time I show it on my live stream, there's always at least one person watching that didn't know. If you want to move your enhancement sheets around, you don't have to sit here and unset and reset them. You could just click and drag the icon over to the next pane, and it swaps them for you. And you can move them around however you want. Recently, it was a little buggy, and they weren't moving around quite right. Actually, it looks like they might still be acting a little funny. So if, yeah, it's still acting a little funny. So if that's happening to you, you can just click and drag and into the next little hole, and it should work. If it's not working, to go into the next pane. So just take it from icon to icon, and that should work just fine. You cannot move your racial tree. That is stuck on the left, but the rest of them you can move around. Well, I think that's about everything that we need to go over. Let's go do some quests. I'm out here in Saltmarsh, so we're going to do some Saltmarsh quests. It's another adventure pack that wasn't around the last time I did a build series. I really like Saltmarsh. And this is where the Skullduggery cap comes from. This comes from the end chest of the final enemy out here in Saltmarsh. And I also wanted to mention that, let's see, I had a Sapphire of Good Luck there. And this is an item that comes from this chain as well. I'm not sure if it just comes from actually this quest or if it can drop in. I think it might just be from this quest in the end chest. And we've had Sapphires of Good Luck +1 in the game for a long time, but they were level 12, and we still have the level 12 ones. But this one is a level 4 that is a rare drop from the end chest of this quest, Haunting of Saltmarsh. All right, now that I've picked up the quest, we're going to do this one on R1. And in this quest, I do have a tutorial for this one, but there's a key that we're looking for that's going to get us like into the basement. It's going to be in one of 3 places, and I had a spot as I came up this stairs, and that is probably an indicator that what we're looking for is in here. And I don't have the ability to unlock doors. Now, the key to unlock this door, actually, there's a puzzle that unlocks this, but if you have trapping skills, or a knock or something, you can just knock it or lockpick it. But I've got Froggo, the rogue hireling, and he's actually part of the bundle for this pack, and he's pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and ask him to pick this lock. And he does benefit from +2 to all ability scores because I do have 1 Druid past life, so that's going to help his rogue skills a little bit. All right, Froggo opened up the door. Thank you, Froggo. And now we're going to go in. And let's see. I think that we might need to search out key. Yep, there's our key. And we don't need Froggo anymore. A nasty ooze. Gonna kill this spider. There we go. And that key that we got will get us into, I think it's the kitchen. That door right there. There's a bunch of other rooms in this quest. Like I said, you'll have to look around for the keys if you don't have the ability to unlock that door. Or the other doors, there's only 3 doors that can have the key. If you're looking for that full walkthrough. Well, it's not a full walkthrough, it's a fast walkthrough. I do have that on my YouTube channel. We got lucky and it was in the first door coming up the stairs. Hell yeah. Now, the gear that I'm showing you in this series is not intended to, tell you what gear you must have. It's just an example of the gear that I'm using. None of it's necessary. So don't stress out about not having everything that I have. Just get a gear set that works for you, especially at these lower levels. But the Feywild, level 5 Feywild stuff is really great if you have the Feywild expansion. It is a really, really nice gear expansion, and I do recommend it. Heal myself. I'm getting 50% extra healing out of wands and scrolls right now, and maybe with my next action point, I'll get that third tier of wand and scroll mastery, so I can up that up to 75% extra healing out of wands and scrolls. Fear Reapers, remember, you want to be close to them so that you don't get their dot, or far away from them so that you don't get their dot. Either one. Melee distance or range distance. Ryan, if you need, we don't need it. This is exactly why I don't get breakables when I'm blasting, because it doesn't hit them very reliably, and it's just kind of frustrating. Yeah, there's some breakables up there. It just doesn't want to hit them really cleanly. Spell power boost, my Reaper boost, and my ooh. I don't know if I didn't buff myself or the buffs ran out. He was hitting me with magic missiles, so I want to make sure I recast shield spell. Alright. Smuggler's Cap. Now we're going to do the second quest that is also part of the same module. This is a classic module. This came out of Classic Dungeon Module U1, The Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. And that's where Haunting of Saltmarsh comes from, and Undercover of Darkness also comes from that same module U1. There's a 5th edition version called Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which includes it as well. And that's where I believe some of the other quests out here are from. But even before that, I think some of them were from other sources, like Dragon Magazine. All right. This one's really... I find this one to be kind of tough on, like, Legendary Reaper when you step it up. There's a lot of mobs, and usually whatever difficulty that we're doing the other quests on, you just step it down by a couple skulls when we do this one. On the steer to port, ladder bug. So they see us coming, and we'll see if I can bluff this guy. And bluff him into starting a mutiny. You don't have to do that, but... All right. He said, go upstairs and take care of the captain. Now, this one, there is 4 crests that are randomly located. You got to put in a door in the lower deck. If you die, these crests fall to the floor, and at least as of right now, there is a bug where they can fall through the floorboards, and you cannot pick it up. So I would recommend when you're doing this quest that you leave the crests until you've cleared it all and you're ready to finish it. Or if you can there's a crest right there. Or if you can put it in the socket right away. I'm going to go ahead and leave that. I did need to click on the shipping documents. I'm probably not going to die on Heroic R1, but we'll leave it there for now. Now I'm going to go take out the deck wizard, Punkita, who's going to be over here. Three collectibles in here. Guess he's casting Mirror Image on himself, which is a pen and paper spell that we don't have in DDO. It would be pretty cool if we did. And there's another crest. All right. Just have to remember that that crest is there. You can spend a lot of time fighting these mobs. There are a lot of them. And this quest can get out of hand really fast because there are a lot of mobs and they just keep coming. They're not endless, but you know, each time you get a round of mobs, there's a chance that Reapers can spawn. And you know, if you start getting Vengeance Reapers and Doom Reapers, it can start getting pretty tricky. Now those don't show up until higher skulls. Vengeance Reapers don't show up until R5, and Doom Reapers don't show up until R7. See, we've already had a couple Reapers spawn with the waves. Maybe I'll just leave him there frozen. Go down in the forecastle. Or foxhole if you prefer. I could be using web if I wanted to, but I'm not really worried about it. Champ chests. Hell yeah. There's a crest there. A collectible there. We gotta click on these shipping documents here. Leave the crest for now. Sometimes there are crests up here on the netting. Unfortunately, that whole thing where like you can drop something and it'll fall through the floor and you can't pick it up because it'll say it's blocked by the floor happens in quite a few quests in this game. So sometimes if you're doing higher difficulty and it's, you know, one of those quests where you're picking up crests and they can drop on death, it's you know, it's advantageous to just wait until you've cleared it and then come back and get the crests. You know, we do that. And there's one of the Sharn Docks quests that's like that. If you go down to the bilge, sometimes you can have crests there. If you go down here and you don't move, you won't aggro the mobs, and you can just look down here to see if there's a crest. I can see there's a crest there. And if you want to, you can just grab it real quick and leave. Grab it and get the hell out. There is an optional guy you can do down there. Go down there and, you know, get a crest or get a chest from. I'm not going to bother. And I'll just put this crest in the socket right away. I think I'm pretty much ready to, let's see, capture or burn down the smuggler's ship. Do I have to break more of these explosive barrels? Well, in any event, I can go get the crests and stick them in the sockets. That's something I gotta do anyways. There's a crest there. Now we're gonna go and get the ones from the deck wizard and the captain's cabin. I didn't do any quests after the last episode other than I did the Sacred Helm because it's Coin Lord favor. And like I said, I want to get that big Coin Lord favor because 400 Coin Lord favor will give me Coin Lord finishing school. And that's +2 to intimidate and +2 to diplomacy, and I want that big intimidate. So I want every little bonus that I can. Now, on one hand, some people might say, it's just +2. You know, and you hear a lot of people say that about, you know, the +1s and +2s. Oh, it's just +1. It's just +2. But your build, you know, it's easy to isolate anything and just say, oh, it's just +1. But your build is the culmination of all those +1s and +2s. Okay? And at the end of the day, the difference between your build and the next one is all those +1s and +2s. You're at endgame, you're playing a DC caster, and you're wondering, you know, why is that other caster in my party landing their spells way more often than I am? It's because they have a lot more of those extra +1s and +2s. And those can add up to make a significant difference. All right. So I still got to capture or burn. I guess I got to kill the bosun. There we go. And done. This is a 10 quest pack. And just classic old school Dungeons and Dragons goodness, in my opinion. We're going to go across the bay to back to basics, which is that tower right there. Looks like the rare's up, and I know that because there would be folks fishing on the dock if he was not up. You have a video that shows a tour of all the rare locations here in Saltmarsh. Legendary Saltmarsh is a really nice rare farm because there's so much good stuff that comes from the rare chests in legendary Saltmarsh wilderness. You can get star fragments, a rare chance at a nebula fragment, common named items that you can feed to your sentient weapon, 1,000 sentient XP gems, and a fair bit of XP along the way. There can be a rare right here. Not up, so we'll go over here to the tower. Got some trappy traps here. We can just run through them. Let's see how much damage they're doing to me on elite. I mean on R1. Oh, about 20 damage per hit. No big whoop. But if we want to, we can pull out Froggo. And if you want to make Froggo even better, you know, you can give him a buff. You know, like, how about this Necklace of Bottled Sunlight that I showed you earlier that has the Good Hope clicky? You know, I can do that. That gives him, you know, +2 to skill checks. Hell yeah. And then maybe Froggo can find some traps for us. Trap bonus is great. Now, if you're a returning player, you haven't played in years. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was about 5 years ago. That trap bonus was significantly increased to up to 30% for ingenious debilitation, and that does add up to add to not only regular XP but Reaper XP as well. So really love getting, you know, trap bonus when we're doing quests, especially when we're doing like legendary Reapers on big skulls for that big Reaper XP. And there is a legendary version of Froggo, and he's a really good trapper. He's a permanent hireling. You can get the the heroic Froggo from the collector's bundle of Saltmarsh. And you get both the heroic and legendary version with the collector's edition pack. of Saltmarsh. So here we're just looking for 3 levers. There's one of them. There's definitely more to this dungeon, but we're just going to do the things that we need to do. Just pull 3 levers to open the way to the end fight. Now, Isle of Dread was just released literally, a couple weeks before I'm starting this series. And I don't have any heroic Isle of Dread gear. Probably won't be showing any of it. I quickly looked at it. It's not bad, but there's no reason for me to go out of my way to get it. This is my final life, I'm going to Cap, and I'm staying at Cap until another race comes out, which means I'll probably be at Cap, until 2023 sometime. So since I'm, mostly done, I'm pretty much done with my past lives. I got all the ones that I really wanted. Since I'm not going to be doing a bunch more lives, I'm not going to worry about getting some heroic gear for just a life or so. But there was a whole bunch of, level 7 loot that was recently injected into the game with Isle of Dread. All right, here's our 3rd lever, and if you had D-Door, which I don't at this low level, but if you did, like you're doing it on Legendary or something, you can just D-Door at this point and then go to the end fight, which is right there. Or you can, if you want, you can just fight your way. I think there's an extra fight or 2. But hey, you know what? We'll just run back around. What the hell? Looks like I took a little bit of damage there, so standing in those traps. I like to have both wands and scrolls because they are on different cooldowns, and so I can alternate throwing them. When you're playing Reaper mode, it's really good to help heal others when you can. Self-healing penalty, there are self-healing penalties, but you can heal other people to full. So when everybody's helping to heal, it's really helpful. The next fight was the first nightmare ever in DDO. There's a little shrine that's easy to miss in here. Just some little tiny shrines if you want to use them. And there's a neat little bit of lore that I didn't know about until I started reading about nightmares. Apparently there's a dark ritual that you can use to create a nightmare. You can take a Pegasus, perform a dark ritual on it to turn it into a nightmare, according to Dungeons & Dragons lore. I did not know this, even though I'm an old pen and paper player. And there's a little clue that happened with this nightmare, because look at this right here. On the ground, we have the 2 bloody wings of a Pegasus as an indication that nightmare not too long ago was a Pegasus. And that evil wizard we just killed in the previous room performed some dark ritual on him. All right, let's see if we find anything interesting here. Not so much. The armor was kind of interesting. I'll post it on the auction house for cheap money. Some newbie out there that needs an interesting set of cheap armor who doesn't have name gear yet might like to have that. And we'll do this next one here. This is what sleeps below. And we're going to come up here and get a lever. Is up here. Open a door downstairs. Let's throw a web. And we got to rescue this guy. That lever opens up this door over here. And now there's going to be another lever in this room. A web on him. Need some soulless champion hitting me. Heal myself up with a wand. And a scroll back to back. Pull this lever. Opens another door downstairs. Right here. And there's going to be some levers here. This area. Levers to open doors. And, oops. I forgot there were mobs in there. There's a shrine in that room. And lever. When you throw down crowd control, you can run the mobs into it. And they can get caught in by it. It's the rats that are already caught in it seem to be blocking. Well, that maybe that Skyborn is might be immune to it. It didn't look like he was affected by it. I kept running that rat around until he ran through the web. Champs. There is a table on DDO Wiki that talks about what the different champ abilities are. And it's not a bad thing to get used to. You know, you don't have to study it like it's the GRE or something. But, you know, at some point, you might want to review that table and get accustomed to, you know, there are certain champs that might be immune to, like, mind-altering effects. So it's good to know, like, hey, you know, I shouldn't bother throwing Hold Monster on this kind of champion, or I shouldn't bother trying to use an insta-kill spell on this other kind of champion because it always has Death Ward, for example. Collectible and a spider over here. I guess the spider's not always there. I don't know. But this door has 3 signal crystals above it. So there's 3 levers that we got to pull to activate those signal crystals and open the door. And this part over here is kind of mazy. It's not a huge maze, but it's kind of a kind of a maze of rooms. It's a little confusing when you're new to it, but it's really not too bad. Here's some Scarlet douchebags. I think these are Vecna followers, actually. Not sure. Famine Reaper, I'm putting on Spell Absorption because Famine Reapers are casters, and they are exceptionally deadly. Especially when you start getting up to like higher heroics and they start throwing things like, you know, Horrid Wilting and Will the Banshee. They can do all kinds of nasty spells. But you put on your spell absorption and you basically render them inert. Okay? Now, if you do get up in their face, sometimes they will slap you around. But they are primarily spellcasters. So don't be lazy. Put on your spell absorption and be the one that survives that Famine Reaper. And then you can tell your dead friends, should have put on your spell absorption like Uncle Voodoo said. Alright, we gotta rescue this person here. And then we can pull that lever. Then you can just throw a Raise Dead scroll at your dead friends, you know? Because you're going to have enough use magic device skill to raise your dead friends at level 7, which is the earliest you can use Raise Dead scrolls. Alright, there's a secret door there, and there's a hidden lever right here. Just going to bring out Froggo. I don't know if I have enough search to find it, but since I have Froggo handy, I'll just bring him out. Hell yeah. Thank you, Froggo. Now go back to your pond. Oh no, I should have kept Froggo out because there's traps here. And this is locked. I think there's traps here. Yes, there's traps here. And now I can't summon Froggo again for 5 minutes. Damn it, Jim. Alright. We're going to have to let trap bonus and that chest go for purposes of this video. So we pulled the 3 levers. And now this door is open. Now this quest still bugs out as of the making of this video. Sometimes. So I'm going to show you and very carefully explain the conditions that makes the quest bug out. Because it's right at the end. And nobody likes doing a quest, you know, practically all the way to the end. And then having to repeat it because it won't complete. Okay, we're looking for a couple of levers in here. Hey, Carnage Reaper. I think you can command Reapers, so, you know, if you choose, you know, you can pick up a command SLA right there. In that room right there, there's going to be a summoned devil. This is the part where the quest bugs out. It's a bearded devil, and bearded devils teleport. There will be an objective that says kill the summoned devil. Okay? But that objective doesn't appear until you step into that room. So if the bearded devil teleports out of the room, and you kill it out in the hallway before you ever step through that door, then what happens is you kill him out here, Then you go into the room and the objective appears to kill the devil, and you can't complete the objective because you already did it. But sometimes he doesn't activate ahead of time. Like right now, he didn't activate. So it's not all the time that I don't know what the conditions are exactly, that sometimes he's active before you even go in there. See, it says defeat the summoned devil. But sometimes he's already active and he'll port right out. So if he is active and he ports out on you right away, make sure you come into this room before you kill him. Otherwise, he's going to be dead out in the hall. You're going to come into this room and it's going to still say kill the summoned devil, and you won't be able to complete that objective because the devil's already dead. Now, I believe they said they fixed that, in a patch after this pack came out, but I know that it still bugs out. So just good to be aware of these little bugs. Like I said, nobody likes completing or having to repeat quests when they bug out. Hell yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and do one more quest for this episode. There will be quite a few more quests that I do at this level. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and finish Saltmarsh, and there'll be some others as well. And I'm getting Gatekeeper's Favor out here in Saltmarsh, which I like Gatekeeper's Favor. There's good stuff available as rewards. And by the way, I do have a video that goes over all the different favor rewards. So if you're not familiar with the favor rewards, there's lots of great stuff available. Hit points, skills, and some other stuff too. And if you've been away from the game for a while, those favor rewards were redone, I don't know, a few years ago maybe. So there's lots of additional stuff that wasn't there many years ago. So the next quest I would typically do while I was out here would be Danger at Dunwater. I'm not going to do that one. I do have a full walkthrough. That one's a little bit longer. It can run really long if you don't know how to do it, because it's a big map and there's a lot of extra stuff to do. But if you just do the things you need to do, it doesn't have to be long. So if you're interested in that walkthrough, you can check that out on my YouTube channel. And I also have a quick walkthrough for the final enemy, which is another one that can run long. Danger at Dunwater is located on that island there. You can see the lookout there. That's what you're looking for when you're looking for Danger at Dunwater. And that's Classic Dungeon Module U2 out of 1st Edition Dungeons & Dragons. And Classic Module U3 is the final enemy, which is that spire there that we can see through the fog. That's the final enemy. But the final quest I'm going to do for this video is going to be the Hijacked Hall, which is in this ship here. Here's the quest giver. And if you want to, you can click on this stuff. Give you water breathing. It's kind of a longish swim. Not too bad. But if you're a slow swimmer or whatever, you can click that. Somebody made a comment on one of my earliest YouTube videos today. It helped them find a quest that's kind of hard to find when you're new. This is really cool that some of those videos that I made 8 years ago, that people are still finding them useful. But I watched a minute of it, and I'm using old microphone, real tinny, just a cheap headset microphone, and I sound so different. And that microphone versus this microphone is so much bassier. Back when I first started making YouTube videos, a lot of people thought I was a young guy because that it just my voice through those headsets that I was using just sound younger. And when I started making live streams, people were like, "Oh, you're old." Yep. But you were a kid. Good old web. As I mentioned, I do have 3 Cleric Pass lives, and every Cleric Pass life not only helps turning ability, I don't have turning ability, but it also, each Cleric Pass life gives you +1 to Conjuration DC, so it's a really nice caster pass life to have. Lots of really nice Conjuration spells. So with this puzzle, we're trying to avoid routing the light through the red. Those will trigger traps. Okay, that looks pretty safe to me. Excellent. So now we can just double back the way we came if we want to, but if you have a trapper, you're going to want to go this way because there are traps here, and you can get trap bonus. And we have a trapper. And I'm going to go ahead and give him the Good Hope clicky to help out his trapping skills. I'm sure he doesn't need it. He's a very, very good trapper. He can get traps. He's just a level 3 hireling. He can get, traps up to like, right through single-digit levels pretty much. And the legendary one does not fail on traps. He's really, really nice hireling to have. You can spring for the Ultimate Fan Bundle of Saltmarsh. I recommend it, and it does go on sale. Now, this is... Oh, gosh, this is I guess this pack is about a year old now. Came out last August. August of 2021. And right now it's July 2021. I have a feeling this video isn't going to get posted till August of 2022. Or it's July of 2022, excuse me. Right, traps there. And I could hear that sound. We got Tamper bonus, that gives us plus 10% XP. I think that's all that's available here. I'm not really sure. I'm not the greatest trapper. But I think that's all the traps in this quest. And there's no reason for me to dismiss him. I could have just parked him in a safe place, which I probably should have done. A better player would have done that. But instead of a better player, you got me. Yeah, because there are more traps. Yep. There's more as soon as I come out of this swim. Should have just parked him. And I could have gotten myself some more XP. So those traps are actually right up here. And that chest is locked, so I could have used Froggo to unlock them. But see, there's pressure plates right there. And so, but I can't summon Froggo again for 5 minutes. So I'm just going to find a way to live my life without it. It's okay. There's a lot of quests that I want to do. I'm going to be doing more quests than I normally do. So like Sacred Helm that I mentioned that I did for that Coin Lord favor, as well as the others that I did for Coin Lord favor that I mentioned in an earlier episode, I wouldn't normally do those because, you know, I'm just knocking out a past life. I'm just trying to level quickly. But when I'm going, you know, doing a final build, a final life, I want to get all those favorite rewards, every single favorite reward that has, you know, meaning for what I'm doing, whether it's relevant skills or even the ones that just give like 5 hit points. I want every, you know, there's about 4 of them that give 5 hit points, and then there's like another one that gives 10. Hey, yeah, I'll take 30 hit points from favor, no problem. Some of them will give saves. So I like to get all that stuff when I'm doing a final build and stay in a cap for a while. There's a Fear Reaper there, so I'm going to just get up close and personal with him so his dots don't stack up on me. If you don't have as much defense, then you might want to stay further away from a Fear Reaper because he will slap you. Get both my spell power boosts, my Reaper Memento, and my Tainted spell casting. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, I think that's all I'm going to run for this episode. And next episode, I will be level 6. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions about my videos, you can respond on YouTube. You can make a comment on my build post in the Warlock forum if you like, or you could stop by the live stream and ask questions and get answers in real time. See you soon.